Hi everybody. This is MightyTeapot. Welcome to my stream. Today we will be talking about the revenant legend Ventari. And here with me today are Bootspur from World of Enders and Inks from MMO Inks and Brazil from Brazil D&T.
Yep,
Wow,
that's me.
that's better than the original.
I'm going to use that as the actual opening line for the stream now when I upload that to the YouTubes.
That's perfect.
It really is.
So, what do you guys think about the name of this this new trait line for the Revenant? I mean, don't you think it's a little bit on point, on the nose? Ventari, they could have called it so much more, like Health Hunter or
Tablet Hunter.
exactly.
iPad.
Right.
I like iPad.
iPad is old,
Salvation.
man. You gotta get with the times. It's now the iWatch.
1+1.
If
Since
you don't
I
have
have,
an iWatch, you're clearly not with it. And
That's true.
I have the $10,000 iWatch actually.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that
Yeah, I can
the
see.
gold plated
Check it
one?
out. See, it's so expensive, it's
It's
invisible.
invisible.
Oh, that is pretty
Nice.
good. Okay, so I know we've got some conflicting opinions here, but what do you guys think about a healing themed specialization and trait line? Brazil, I feel like this will anger you.
Yeah,
well, he doesn't like Revenant to begin with, so
I don't like Revenant to begin with. I have been so consistently disappointed by Revenant, and like so much so that I refuse to even play it. I don't want to play it in any of the betas because first of all, it's not finished yet. If there was like a power line that I could play around with, which is what I'm mostly interested in, I'd probably
There's no such thing as a power line anymore.
well, whatever.
yes line.
Whenever we get the Shiro legend, that's
Yeah.
when I'll probably give it a chance. But like, it feels like Revenant is just ANET trying to do things and say like, look how different we can be. We have a ranged hammer here on the Revenant. It's a heavy armor class, but it's a caster, and we've got a mace that attacks just as quickly as a dagger, and it's a condition damage weapon. And like, I can give that up. I can say, okay, it's stupid, but it's fun, whatever. And then, like, when I saw the trailer for Heart of Thorns, and he was, like, beating things asses, Ridlock was just beating people with a staff, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be like Stick from Daredevil. This is gonna be amazing. And then we get a blog post that says, and the Ventari legend is focused on healing. And I just, like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I quit Guild Wars 2. I'm going to go to college and become something.
If we leave aside the healing aspect right now, and just talk about the fact that the trait line itself, like I looked at the traits, I should look at them again, but all of the traits in this trait line are healing based, basically, right? There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's
Super
nothing really.
healing.
Yeah.
It's
So
yeah, it's a bit reactive, isn't it? It's things hit you and then they suffer for, but it punishes people for attacking you and your friends, really.
yeah. So you're gonna pick this trait line if and only if there's not really nothing in there. Maybe there's I think a blind trait that might be kind of interesting for something else, but there's nothing in here that sort of synergizes with any other kind of spec that you might want to run if you don't want to be healer, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So then that makes me think that yeah, this is what this is going to be. This is what Revenant is going to be. It's going to be you pick your legends, you definitely take the trait line that you're taking your legend to be. Like if you're going to play Ventari, you're taking this trait line. If you're playing or if you're taking this trait line, you're hella taking Ventari because there's no reason not to. And it just seems very so straightforward, Revenant, right now. Because I when I first heard of Revenant and how they were saying that you have your utility skills and the utility skills will change based on the legend you're currently in, at first I thought that's amazing. We're going to have a huge choice of utility skills, a huge choice because even if you don't get as many as every other class does originally, like instead of getting your how many do we each get? Like 25 or something like that. to begin
It's
with?
yeah,
Every profession has around that.
something.
Even if you don't have that, even if you just give them like 6 or 7, and then those change based on your legend, that would be amazing because you'd have choose 3 from 6, and then there'd be so many options, different combinations you could do. But with this, it seems really straightforward. Like you're gonna have choice, but it'll just be the role you play and not the build you make.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely concerning. I think you're going to pick 3 core trait lines. One of them is always going to be that extra one that doesn't have a legend tied to it, and then it's going to be whatever 2 legends you decide to pick. So Ventari and Jalis, you're going to pick those 2 lines plus the 3rd line. So it does feel like there's even less, I guess, traits. I guess there's like less trait combinations that you can pick in some ways. But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at that wrong. If you're gonna play a guardian, like let's say you want to play a meditation guardian, you're basically going to pick the same 3 trait lines you always did, right? I mean, I guess you don't have to, but you're gonna pick meditation for sure, and then 2 others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I guess this way. I guess this is more like. I guess maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I guess this is just, like you said, more straightforward. If you play Ventari, you're going to pick the Ventari line. If you play Jalis, you're going to pick the Jalis line. And then there's really not like you're going to pick up the Malix line, because will you even be able to? I guess maybe you could, but
why would you do that? And I think in that respect,
know.
it's kind of the same, really, isn't it? I mean, you're not going to pick the consecration traits if you don't run any consecrations as a guardian. So
Yeah.
In that respect, it's pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah, except you could, as a guardian, you could pick 1 consecration trait, 1 skill, 1 something else, 1 something else. And...
Yeah, so it's slightly more restrictive then in that respect.
Yeah, you're definitely locked into things a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyway. I kind of like that, but I know Boots and a variety of other people are not going to be happy with that kind of setup.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I was surprised by specializations in general once I started to see all of them revealed, and I was like, oh, I could live with this. This isn't so bad. There's some good things here. So maybe I'll be surprised in the end with Revenant. Maybe I'll be able to think of something fun with it. But right now, I'm a little bit, I don't know, not very hopeful.
Yeah. I feel like I should also clarify. I don't even remember if I said this or not at the beginning before I started ranting. I don't hate the idea of healing or like tanking or whatever. I'm just really mad that staff has to be the weapon associated with that. That's my main problem with this particular case.
Why staff? Oh, because you wanted.
I wanted it to be like a
martial artist.
Yeah,
kinda.
I wanted it to be like awesome and cool, but now it's like.
I mean, I like staff. It's just not a DPS weapon. Originally, I guess it was supposed to be a DPS weapon, and at some point they changed it.
Elementalist.
Right.
Fire camping.
Yeah.
Highest DPS in the game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like staff. I like the animations. The skills themselves are pretty cool. I was really hoping that number 4, where you root yourself, jump up, and plant yourself down. I was hoping that was going to be a blast finisher, but it's not. So
it looks like it should be, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the animation kind of makes you think like, oh, he's going to blast, but he doesn't. He's just meh.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about the healing now, what do you think about the healing? Because this is basically pure healing spec. If you're going to go Ventari, you're going to do, at least half of you is going to be stacking healing completely and healing everybody. So far in Guild Wars 2, there really isn't a role. Like, there isn't a place for that, really. Unless I'm wrong, or do people run full healing specs in World versus World or anywhere?
I don't think so.
No, it's always a partial of something. Like if you're talking about World versus World Zerg, it's like Ellies that go into water and then heal through water.
Well, I guess
they don't really go for that. I mean, they don't wear healing gear.
Yeah, they don't wear healing.
They might use
Okay.
like celestial or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they at least two of the traits in that trait line specifically say you want to be stacking healing for this trait line.
Right. Yep.
The one that gives you toughness, I think, for your healing power, and the other one that gives you additional healing for your healing power. So you would probably not be running celestial if you picked up those things. One of them is a minor trait too. So yeah, you want to be stacking healing in Ventari. Do you foresee in Heart of Thorns the possibility of healing being necessary, or something that a group needs?
I have some hypotheses about this, actually. And there's a stat combination called Zealots that I don't
like it.
know if many
It's
people.
expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many people even know about it because I think it's still fairly new. But it's power, precision, and healing power. So if there's content that this is assuming dungeons or raids or whatever we get come in the same format where you want to eventually, whenever you've learned everything, you go for as much DPS as possible while taking basically as much support as needed. And if there are encounters where you have to heal people, you could probably eventually choose a DPS legend if we ever get that, and take Ventari and take like Zealot stuff and switch over to Ventari and heal people with staff if you need to or something, or I don't know, with your tablet, and then go back and just DPS again really quickly since you can kind of just jump around.
Oh.
Whoa.
What do you do? What's going on here?
Just keep
Nice
talking.
place.
Okay.
He really needed to pick his nose for a second there.
Your face looks very different right now. It's
Inks is confirmed to be a TV.
yeah.
We knew it all along. It's
We've
the cyborg
confirmed that.
uprising.
Right
what's
now.
going? What?
Oh.
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 It's Ventari.
Yeah.
Ventari has come to join us.
Yeah.
Were you uncomfortable or?
You know what? I need to hang a black curtain or something up behind me because I'm always whitewashed out and it's
Oh.
terrible.
Well, just like Tom Sawyer's fence, right?
Yeah, actually, Inks,
Right.
Star Crusher makes a good point. You should probably put some pants on next time before you do that.
I have pants on.
I don't, if that makes you feel any better.
Your place is
Yeah,
pretty
doing
clean,
as well.
actually. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it looks
I mean,
better than
Wow,
I didn't even.
geez,
I didn't even
clearly
make
live
my
in a
bed.
barn or a
Yeah.
pigsty or
My
something.
bed is still like in ruins from all of the women I had in it the night before.
Oh.
No,
I don't know how this actually looks because I now cannot see my computer
It's
screen.
fine.
Or
looks
chat or
like you
anything.
live in a apartment building,
Very small one.
It
Looks like
yeah.
one I would be happy to live in.
Well, there you
and
go.
It looks
You
like
got-
you go fishing. You have a tackle box over there, or maybe that's a pet carrier.
That is
got a pretty-
CPAP machine.
Oh, hey, I know people with those.
Yeah.
Those things are, well, they're necessary, I suppose.
Inks can't breathe, so he needs a machine to help him. Anyway.
All right then. Should we talk about some of the weapon skills? Let's get down to this. Actually, talk about Guild Wars 2 instead of housing situations. Although
Fine,
I would be happy to convert this to a housing situation podcast. I might just have to
If
change
we
the game
get-
type though.
We can talk about guild halls. I guess that segues nicely into
Yeah.
those.
That's
There
true
you go.
actually.
RE6X always keeping us on track.
He is. I know. Every time he just says it's incoherent blabbering, I know it's time to actually talk about something important. Okay, so the auto attack, rapid swipe into forceful bash into rejuvenating assault. So you deal a pittance of damage. It's it's the tickle
Yeah.
stick. That's what this is. You don't do anything,
Ah,
and
I like that. I
and then
like that a lot.
you spin around and heal people. It's actually a pretty solid heal, to be honest. 1,500 on an auto attack. That's pretty insane, I think, and with a whirl finisher as well. So you in a light field, does that give you healing bolts, or
Condition removal.
Yeah,
condition
condition removal in a
removal.
light field, but in a water field, it would be healing
Yeah.
bolts. I think. Yeah.
so?
Um,
I think that's pretty strong potential. I think.
yeah,
If-
the
if
healing
you-
bolts aren't that strong, though. I don't think. if I remember correctly. They're pretty.
I can't ever remember them doing anything when I've been hit by one.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean,
Maybe they need to buff them. Clearly.
I think all healing needs
Oh,
buffing.
Yeah.
To be useful.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's part of the problem with this Ventari. I really like the Ventari Legend. I like the direction it's going. I think in Heart of Thorns, it's going to have more usability than it does in the core world for many reasons. But if I remember correctly, healing power doesn't scale very well. So are they going to fix the scaling
Well-
with healing power?
It scales. You mean specifically for the combo fields?
No, I mean in general. I was under the impression, maybe this is wrong. I've never used healing power, so you'll have to forgive me.
Healing power. I mean, every skill has a different scale for healing power. So, like, you might have some skills that have a healing power scale of 0.15 HP per point of healing
see.
power, and sometimes it goes up to like 1.2, 1.4. I think there's one. But yeah, so it's completely dependent on the skill itself.
So we don't know. Do we know what the scale is? We won't know until we can play and test it, right?
We only
Probably have to
know.
play around with it.
Yeah, we only know when the nice people over at Guild Wars 2 Wiki put it
Figure
up
it
there
out.
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that like Guardian dodge roll heal in PvE has like a 100% scaling, so which is
Right.
It's
huge.
Yeah, it's pretty. If you have healing power, it's noticeable, and
Yeah,
even
I mean-
I guess without it can be too. But
Yeah, that's
So
a
it
good way
just-
to.
I guess it just seems to me that the scaling on these skills will have to be pretty decent in
Yeah.
order to
yeah,
really capitalize on it well.
For sure, yeah. So I wonder, with all of these live streams, I always wonder what gear they're running for
Yeah.
these numbers to come up. So, like, we see healing of 1440, but what were they running healing power gear? I don't know. Hopefully not, because that would
I
be.
I know at one point when Roy was fighting a Mesmer, he was not even wearing an amulet or anything. He had said something in the live stream like he wasn't wearing an amulet. I don't even think he was like I don't know if he even had a rune set in properly or anything like that. So it sounded like he was totally under geared for that experience.
Okay.
I'm not sure why you would not plan ahead for that, but
It would be nice if they
I guess
told
you can
us.
look at those. I guess you can look at those numbers and say, "Hey, this is what it looks like when you have no gear on." Pretty much.
Yeah.
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 Is
I don't
there no on the staff? There doesn't seem to be any combo fields, eh?
That's.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's many in the whole Ventari Legend. It didn't seem like.
Yeah. So you have a world finisher on the auto attack, which is interesting. I'm not gonna that's interesting to begin with, I gotta say. But you got nothing else to support it on the staff itself. Does the tablet have area of effects?
It probably does.
Let's find out.
Yeah. I'll...
No combo field. No combo field. No combo field.
I don't remember seeing one.
No, there are no.
Wow.
No combo fields.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's a bit strange,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't have any combo fields, and how many finishers are there? I know there's just whirl. Is it just one? It can't be just one, really. I
Looks
guess
like
maybe
just-
it is.
Well, I mean, it would be so much nicer if the freaking whirl had something to support it in
Right.
its own.
I don't think.
Like, I mean,
No, it actually doesn't, and that's the only finisher as well. That is
if-
unusual.
and if there's no,
Maybe
If
that's
there's-
something that's going to change then, though. I mean, I don't know.
maybe,
I would hope.
hopefully.
Yeah, I would hope.
That wouldn't be that great. It would be well. I guess but then again, maybe because this is totally based around support, the idea is that you only pick this if you only use this specialization if you're going to be around other people to provide the fields for you. Seeing
Yeah,
as
but then
I mean,
that makes me think that the next logical choice for the other legend would probably be Jalis at this point, from what we
Yeah.
know, because he'll be tanky and stuff. Does Jalis have any combo fields on his utility skills, or
There's the
the
path
lightning
thing
fields.
that gives stability,
Yeah.
right?
path gives stability? Is
Well,
that a light field?
Whirl is
lightning
dazing
field.
bolts.
Lightning field. A whirl for lightning is concussive bolts.
Yeah.
that's actually really
so-
strong then. So
But it doesn't. That's just vulnerability, though. I think.
Is it?
I don't know. I thought it dazed, but that may be something else.
I think it's just vulnerability. I can look it up right now. Concussive bolts.
Yeah, it's 1 stack of vulnerability
Oh, that's
for 5
bad.
seconds. That's not very good.
Yeah. So, but what could you do as a world finisher that would be good?
Malix,
Besides, I guess.
Light fields.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
The Malix legend has a lot of dark fields though. You could get leeching
Lifesteal?
bolts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem
Yeah,
like
leeching bolts, dark fields would be great.
Dude, Jade Maw even faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. All right. But what I want to know though is, there's no weapon swap, right?
Yeah, I don't
No.
think so.
No.
So you have your staff. You're rocking it out in Ventari, being a great healer.
No.
You switch to Jalis, let's say, and you still have your staff, and you don't have any other things. You're not really happy anymore. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, what, staff just seems like a. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's really unfortunate. I mean.
Well, I mean, if you're still playing support with Jalis, right? So you're still going to put down your brick
protection.
road. You're gonna maybe use the elite that gives everybody stability, right? Or sorry, that's hammer skills.
I'm
The
gonna
damage absorb.
check on something. I've just become interested really quickly.
Oh.
I've
The
got to log
interest.
in game briefly.
Okay. Okay. While we wait, you want to swap over to the next skill for the staffs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here is punishing sweep. Sweep your staff at foe, and this has a second thingy. That means if you hit them while they're using a skill, which is pretty much all the time, to be honest, you get access to the second bit, which is debilitating slam, which applies weakness in an area around, and you leap up into the air and slam onto the ground and weaken them for 3 seconds. And you can do this a lot. It's got 5-second cooldown.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not terrible. Except it's still a 1-second cast time for the debilitating slam.
Yeah, it is quite slow. But all of these skills are quite slow, really.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't really do that much damage. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't seem like that much better to have hit them with your punishing sweep while they're using a skill.
Exactly.
It's just an extra skill to use. That's not your auto attack.
Yeah.
No, it gives them weakness.
For 3 seconds though.
Or, well, yeah.
And so, yeah, even if you were getting this perfect spam every 5 seconds, it would only give you less than 60% uptime on weakness. And I guess if you had condition duration, you could get up there pretty easily. But it's just not very good, is it?
Although, hold on a second, it does give you 10 energy thing. Or use 10 energy? I forget how that works.
Uses 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uses 10.
Okay, all right. That doesn't help that much.
Yeah, that makes it less helpful.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a skill. I could tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, it hits 5 targets.
Yeah.
So it hits a few more people. It's got a wider. It's got a radius that it hits in. I don't know. It's not amazing by any means, but
It's not terrible.
Okay, my experimentation will just I'll even call it that. So I was looking at the damage on the auto attack on the staff, and it is, from the picture I'm looking at, it says Rapid Swipe is 339, Forceful Bash is 373, and Rejuvenating Assault is 813 3x.
Yeah.
And I went to look just really quickly at my Warrior in Heart of the Mists, and with Shoutbow, Celestial Amulet, Soldier Runes, my Greatsword auto attack did, well, the damage numbers seem to be comparable. I put on a Berserker's Amulet and stuff, they went up to like more than double that. So I have to wonder if they're using like a Celestial Amulet on this, or maybe if it's no amulet at all, that seems a little high. But for
So you
like
think
just
the
the
staff is-
damage.
He just said. I think he just said no amulet for the footage of him
Okay.
fighting the mesmer thing.
Okay.
For the other footage,
If
Celestial seems like maybe their go-to set just because it's.
Yeah, if that's like the power from the celestial amulet, and granted, I think they're gonna change the celestial amulet. I don't know what they're gonna do to it exactly, but if that doesn't seem terrible. Maybe you'll be able to produce some damage, but then again, that's all assuming. That's just looking at the numbers.
So
That's
Brazil,
not...
what you're telling us is that Ventari's staff will be highest DPS in game.
I don't know. I'm my hope.
Don't make that claim. You'll get yelled at in the comments.
Yeah, my hope is that it's not just gonna like sit there and like thunk on people. It'll actually like be able to produce damage, but
Highest.
so that way you're not like fucked if you go for the Ventari legend and like I don't know. You
Right.
have to. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Ventari talked softly and he carried a big stick, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing here. We're gonna.
just like
Big shovel.
Richard Nixon, that's who said that, right?
He talked so softly, just wrote everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it could not be terrible damage, even
Yeah.
though it seems like it might be. How much was the great sword with the necromancer when we were doing it? It was 500, I think, for the auto attacks.
It was more, yeah.
Yeah. But
The
then
base damage was more.
that doesn't do any
Yeah.
healing though, so it has to
Yeah.
give it has to give something, obviously, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well then again the
And it was slower. Like,
yeah, it
this
was-
staff is faster than
Yeah.
that weapon.
And the Reaper does apply a lot of chill, so that will make it do a little bit less damage.
If Reaper Greatsword does 500 with Celestial Amulet, I'm almost like I'm like this right now. I'll be like that probably, like after we get Berserker stuff on it. But
What was that? What was that finger? That was
you know, it's like
a it's like a DPS meter.
right. That's
Yeah,
my
okay.
that's my DPS meter. That's what I'll call it.
Yeah,
That's
the
what Nemesis
numbers-
has been looking for. That's what he wants.
the Reaper's greatsword numbers were 646, 646, and 760.
Reaper, guys. Reaper highest DPS in game. I'm calling
Okay.
it now.
Okay.
There we go. They don't need support. They don't need support.
No.
That's from Dolphy's website screen captures. So that's if they're using Celestial, which I mean they could be.
That's pretty
Possible.
big if it is. That's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. mm-hmm. Warding Rift.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Create a rift from the mists, warding you from attack. While the rift is open, projectiles will hit nearby foes, blinding them. And it's three sets of 4-second blinding on 10-second cooldown. And it's within 2 seconds, so it's an initial and then one every second. It's okay. It's all right.
Good. Good. Is there's probably gonna be blinding synergy somewhere in the Revenant, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of blinds on this.
And they can't see either.
Well, yeah, they have the blindfold.
Yeah.
Clearly, Teapot did not read the lore discussion about the Revenants. They can see just fine.
Oh,
They just wear a blindfold.
They can't see.
Jeez.
It's because the blindfold is like see-through a little bit.
Yeah.
Duh.
It's
obviously.
mesh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mesh.
And they're all like daredevils anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, I think when you put on the blindfold, your entire screen is black. It's just hard mode.
You have that's what comes with the collector's edition. You have to wear a
Exactly.
blindfold as well when
Yeah.
you're playing the game.
It comes
Which
with a
one of the
blindfold.
ArenaNet devs did, and that worked very well for him. He's very good at the game, so that's challenging content. You have to play the game
Oh,
blindfolded.
that's the end game.
And,
That's the hard PvE content. You have to.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to show your webcam to the game, and it determines if you're wearing a blindfold or not. And if you aren't, you just instantly die. That would be pretty good. Sure.
It comes with a Kinect-like device for your
Yeah.
PC, and Guild Wars 2 on, and it just turns the game on. You don't have to touch buttons anymore.
Yeah.
I like it. I would play that game.
Yeah.
Renewing Wave. The next one.
Send out a wave.
It's a pretty
mist
hefty
energy.
heal.
Yeah, and 2 conditions removed as well. I think this is quite
That's
good.
not bad.
And to 5
do
targets
too.
as well.
Yeah.
And it's a 15-second cooldown. That's pretty fast. There's probably. Oh, wait a second. There wasn't a cooldown trait for the staff in the traits, was there?
Not as I recall, but we will. If there is, we will discover it later on.
There's probably somewhere going to be a all two-handed weapons have a 20% cooldown.
You think?
That's my guess. Probably on
They
one of the
could.
trait lines.
It's a good skill.
Yeah, it's good. It's great school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a really nice support skill.
Mhm.
2 conditions every 15 seconds is strong, and then you got 1,500 heal. And if that's with Celestial, if you decided to put more into healing, you'd get even more. Even more. Wow.
The last skill is something I really want to see in action more.
Yeah, I'm thinking fiery greatsword in the corner. That's what comes to mind. But
yeah. This.
Yeah, I love this skill.
This does a good amount of damage as well. It's 2,700 base. If that was with Celestial, then this is gonna hurt people.
nine.
Yeah, 9
X.
times.
9x.
Channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this will hurt you.
Mhm. This, I mean, this would be the only reason I would say. Actually, hold on a second. No. You could probably use a staff in this case on DPS spec just for that skill.
Well, yeah, and if the auto attack turns out being like decent,
Yeah.
Yep.
so
I don't think the audio attack's going to turn out decent, but this is. I mean, if you look at the difference between the auto attack and this is the auto attack is 340. This is 2,800 damage.
Yeah. But the auto attack looks, well, no, it doesn't look that fast, I guess.
Yeah.
If the knockback is applied 9 times, imagine how good this will be for break bars if you lure them into a corner.
If you line it up perfectly and start running directly at somebody, will they be knocked back into
Yes.
you continuously knocked? Yeah.
As long as they don't
Okay.
get knocked to the side.
Mm.
Like if they get knocked to the side, then no. But if it was the perfect situation, it will. Yeah, the blog post at least said that it would bounce them more than once. It would continue to like knock them back.
That's awesome.
So the plan for this is to have a guardian with ground targeted consecrations. Put sanctuary at the end of your surgical mists.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really fun actually. I like that skill not only because it seems awesome, but also because there's a huge skill aspect to it. Not just a corner, but if you I think a corner actually would be worse because eventually with a corner they got knocked to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with this, if you line it up perfectly, you'll get the full 9 hits and it'll be a huge damage boost.
And they can't really do anything about it unless they have stability.
Yeah.
Because the hits are so fast, you can't avoid being hit by all of them. So this is powerful. Powerful idea.
Yeah. Powerful and fun. And like I said, there's a skill base to it. There's a skill, not cap. What's the other one? Skill.
Ceiling.
A train. A
Skill
skill
train.
Whatever.
A skill point.
Whatever. Just
A hero
keep going.
point.
Anyway.
It's not a skill point anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come
I'm
on.
exhausted and hungover. Keep
need-
moving.
Okay, well, in that case, seeing as we've decided this is good, it's time to talk about the utility things. And it's about tablets, iPads. You summon an iPad, and it appears at a target location. You will it towards... Wait, yeah. First, you summon it, you will it into existence, and it heals people near it every few seconds. Well, it's comparable to regeneration. No, it's more like the Elementalist Soothing Mist, isn't it? Because it's every 3 seconds.
Unless
So-
there's no healing power on this.
Yeah, and then it will be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that it will, like, they'll probably make it better than, let's say, Signet of Healing. Oh, what's it called? Signet of Health? Warrior?
Healing Signet.
Healing signal.
Healing Signet. Anyway, it's probably going to be more powerful than Healing Signet as its base healing because it's a positional thing rather than
Yeah.
a automatic thing. Although at the same time, it does heal everybody.
Yeah. So
So
that's quite
yeah.
strong. I mean, I think in when you've got 5 people for this to work on, that's pretty strong, really. Imagine if healing sickness affected everyone in a radius around you. Imagine how many people would complain about that. So I think this is quite powerful, actually.
That is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I love that you can move this around the battlefield.
Yeah, it's cool.
On like a 2-second cooldown. I don't know. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's like better than banners.
I think just using this at all times is just going to have a really insane healing output. I mean, for every person you whack around the head with this tablet, it heals them for 1,000, and if you can hit 5 people with this, it's 5,000 healing every 2 seconds.
Yeah, and in reality, if you think about it,
it wouldn't be that hard
you could probably just not run a healing spec at all, and
still get a lot of healing out of this.
Yeah,
and still get a decent amount of healing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then everybody's going to be running some DPS legend, probably Shiro, and then back up Ventari, and just switch into Ventari whenever they need to heal up.
Yeah. I think this tablet is very good. What do you think, Brazil?
Yeah, it seems alright.
Only alright? Only alright?
It seems alright.
What do you not like about
Yeah.
it so far?
Well, I guess I'm kind of unfairly maybe comparing it to like Shield of the Avenger or things that like follow you around. I guess the tablet isn't able to die. Like people can't just come kill it. So I guess that's a good aspect of it, but I don't know.
Not that good?
Would it be good for a bunker build in Conquest?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
That one of those, and then what was it yesterday? On Shin's podcast, we were looking at the Ranger changes, and you're basically probably going to be able to make a turret engineer Ranger. So just stick one.
Yeah,
here
I like where they're going with the new spirits, though.
With this thing, so I don't know.
All right. Okay, next is Protective Solace. Summon a protective barrier around the tablet that destroys enemy projectiles. And this lasts for 20 seconds.
That's a lot.
But it is on an upkeep thing, I believe.
Upkeep, but you can turn that on and off. You don't have to leave it up all the time.
So it's not an actual duration of 20 seconds. It's a
potential duration, I think, is
potential.
Yeah,
if you can upkeep it.
Okay.
Which is
so then it'll
easy.
cool down for 5 seconds after either you toggle it off or 20 seconds runs off.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And it uses eight things per second to upkeep
8 energy.
This. Yeah, 8 energy.
Is there a way to gain energy at a sufficient rate that you could always have enough energy to use it?
It seems like you gain a decent amount of energy just by like auto attacking and stuff and such.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the energy upkeep. I don't know. You won't indefinitely be able to keep this up. Obviously, they don't want you to do that, but you'll be able to sustain it for quite a while. I think if you're also attacking like a melee target or something, protect you from the range, but still attacking melee. I think that you'll be able to keep it up. I think that it's feasible you'll be able to keep it up for the full duration.
Yeah. It is. I don't. Obviously, if it reflected projectiles, this would be hilariously broken.
See, originally I thought it did reflect before I had read like the tile here. I thought it did reflect, and I was like, this is amazing. What are you talking about? And then it doesn't actually reflect, unfortunately. I wish it did reflect. That would be insane.
And yeah, as we're seeing here, the radius it's not huge. It's not particularly big, 240. But I think
you can move this though.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's really compensated by the fact that you can move this around. So with a good amount of coordination from your friends, your buddies, you can easily keep a good number of people in this just by using the heal. You
move it.
Exactly.
You can move it, heal them, and then protect them from the projectiles hitting that area. Very cool.
I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm thinking that this Ventari guy is probably going to see a lot of use in Conquest as a bunker
Hmm.
because, I mean, what is better than this Ventari's tablet at protecting a point?
Well, him and
It's
Jalis like together
Oh yeah.
yeah,
is
exactly. It's
just
like a permanent thing right there. That actually no, if you switch to Jalis, your thing goes away. Your
You'll lose
tablet
a
goes away.
tablet, but Jalis has other tanky
Pride
aspects
of
to
the Great
himself.
Dwarf.
Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
it's
He
called.
can give himself protection. He can give himself stability.
Yeah,
Switch
so you
back
could
to the
actually
tablet, drop it again.
exactly. So if you're doing a team fight, you switch to the tablet, so it buffs everybody on the point. And then if you're doing a solo fight, you're probably gonna be Jalis or something.
And he switch back
Um,
and forth. Yeah.
yeah, and so it has huge use there. It looks like,
I
and then possibly in Stronghold to either have the Ventari's tablet follow the door breakers
Hmm.
and reflect things every once in a while, or defending the Lord, really.
Yep.
well,
Oh yeah.
the Jalis thing, the Jalis Elite thing, has a lot of mitigation to it.
Right.
So I think clever use of these two legends in conjunction will be really effective, because I mean the Jalis thing, for all intents and purposes, it makes you invulnerable because it absorbs something like 200,000 damage, I think it says on the tooltip or something, on everyone around you. So basically you don't die until you run out of energy. You stop that thing, and then as soon as that's over, then you swap over to here and start healing everyone up and destroying projectiles and stuff. So I think the two of these together, you've got the healing and the mitigation, which is interesting, because I never thought they'd really go down the healing route. I thought that they were always going to be about mitigation in Guild Wars 2, and reactive stuff instead of just green numbers appearing.
Next one.
The next one, natural harmony. I will drink. Delicious. Collect energy, pulling it into the tablet to build up its power. After a short delay, the energy will be released, healing nearby allies.
Delay time 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can have
And
this
while
going
you-
constantly.
And does hold on a second though. It looks like it's an insta cast,
Yep.
which means you could cast it and then do other stuff while it's delaying, and then it'll go off. So it's not like you have to wait 2 seconds.
And you could put down a load of these at once, so you could use all your energy on this, and just have a massive.
Yeah, that's
burst
true.
healing.
It's a 2 second cooldown.
So
Huh.
Yeah. You
Does the
can-
cooldown start after it actually works, or right when you press it?
let's look at the
Good
video
question.
and find out. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, do it.
Do it.
The guy's
Do it.
not doing it.
Did
No.
it satisfy
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, what is the guy waiting for?
Do
Seriously.
it.
What the hell? Is this even the right video?
Rorschach versus
Okay.
Dr. Manhattan.
Did you
wait,
just
what?
load a screenshot?
Oh no, he's using it without the cooldown on it. Damn it, he's using his dirty hacks, so we don't know.
Oh.
He's
Terrible.
using his filthy ArenaNet hacks to remove the cooldown of everything. I should report
So-
this guy. Get Chris
So
Cleary to ban him.
possibly, so you could possibly get this heal every 2 seconds, or it'll be every 4 seconds,
Right.
like
You-
4 times in a row.
Even if it was every 4 seconds, that would still be pretty decent. That's
Yeah.
500 health a second, and that's not even with full healing power gear.
Yeah, and you can do things in between too.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't force you to do nothing for 2 seconds and be easily interrupted as well. So I think this is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a strong heal.
It's like your bread and butter heal for this thing. I
Yeah.
think.
I definitely agree with that. Brazil, you heals boys. You've said heals boys in the chat.
Heels, boys.
Would you like to
That's-
elaborate on that?
No. Just heels, boys.
I think Brazil is all Guild Wars 2 talked out this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm very tired right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have
Purifying Essence.
any- remove condition? Whoa! Oh wow, I don't remember this one. Remove conditions from allies near the tablet and heal them all for a small amount per condition removed.
That sounds useful.
I think this is useful. It uses 35 energy, which is
Ooh,
a lot of
That is a
energy.
lot.
It's a lot of energy.
You
But
have 100 on your energy
Yeah.
bar, right? Okay.
100 in total. Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
you can use this 3 times basically, because getting the extra 5 energy isn't going to take you that much longer.
Yeah.
So
What are the big energy gaining things for a revenant?
bashing people,
Is that it?
I believe.
Is
so.
it like life force build up where you like attack and use skills and stuff? Like it's
I don't
not
know.
using skills.
No, I think
Is that still? Yeah, go ahead.
you gain a certain. I'd have to look at the original tooltips and stuff, but you gain life force.
Life
Jeez.
force.
You gain energy. You gain energy over time, like naturally as well. I don't remember the rate anymore. So it's what I need to look up.
There may be traits and stuff that like increase that possibly as well.
Well,
I don't know.
we know so little about the rest of the revenant traits is unfortunate.
Yeah.
I just the bigger problem is I don't have a lot of this stuff memorized just yet, and really haven't had the thing too about is like energy is you never really felt like you had a shortage of energy, unless you were just like spamming skills or something. You could run it out, but.
No, because I'm really wondering how it works because I was trying to. It seemed to just regenerate over time in combat, and I don't think that was just because I was hitting things. I think it was just regenerating at a fixed rate in combat, and yeah, I don't know. I think that just might be it. So I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any revenant skills that increase your rate of regeneration of energy, because I'd like to play around with that.
Yeah. Maybe shield will.
Yeah, maybe.
Or,
Dolphy doesn't really say necessarily exactly how it. You regenerate more of it when you're out of combat than you're in combat, obviously, but it doesn't give any specific numbers.
Yeah, and you start off at 50.
You start at 50.
50.
Yeah.
So that lets you use the next skill one time.
Yep.
The energy expulsion.
But I do know that you gain it at a decent rate if you're only auto attacking. So when you start to use your upkeep skills and stuff, that it obviously.
Well, yeah, because those all use. Yeah.
They all cost where, yeah.
I'm being told that it's 5 per second in the beta. So
That
in
sounds
a
right.
Beta.
The beta.
You could
Beta.
say that it's got a 7-second cooldown. Kind of.
Okay.
Because, if you were just using this, it has a 7-second cooldown. If you get 5 per second.
5 per second. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And I think that increases, like the arrows go left and right. So when the arrows are right, it fills it faster.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, it's got rate.
Of the energy bar, there's those arrows.
They go like this.
Right. So as those
Yeah.
arrows ramp up, it fills it even faster.
Okay.
Of
Kind of
course,
like
you lose
Mad.
it even more. When it's
There's,
further to the
there's
left.
5 arrows, so it's going to
Yeah.
be one arrow is 1 per second. So actually, when we were
Yeah.
talking,
Makes sense.
when we were talking
One
about the
light equals
degeneration,
one arrow.
when we were talking about the degeneration from the upkeep earlier, it's actually it's only 3. It uses 3 per second because it just denies your regeneration. Because it uses
Completely.
it uses 8, and you've got 5, then you have -3.
Okay.
Right.
So actually, you can keep
Oh.
the bubble up for easily its full duration. You can keep it up for over its full duration if you start from 100 energy.
And don't use any skills.
And
And,
don't
and
use
don't
skills.
use any other
Yeah.
skills. Right.
Yeah.
That's what.
So
it
if
comes
you're
down to.
standing still, no one's moving, and you don't do anything, you can keep the bubble up for 20 seconds.
Okay.
Seems unlikely, but
Yeah.
yes.
But anyway, so
yeah, it's such just go ahead.
I think this is very powerful. I mean, 3 conditions is nothing to be sniffed at, really. And that it will also heal you on top of that for 1,000 and everyone in the area. It's a small area again, but with if your team are being team players, then I think it will be pretty easy to get at least a couple of people affected by this, and yourself, obviously.
Well, you have this removal, and if you're using the staff, you have the staff's conduit removal. It's a lot of condition
So
removal.
conditions are
Yeah.
meaningless to the Ventari.
Seems like it, yeah.
This kind of pairs well with Malix as well, right? If you're in Malix and you've loaded yourself up with
But you
conditions,
kind of want.
No,
oh,
yeah,
okay, I see
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
And you're dying, and you need to get rid of them.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But yeah, okay. So that
You
like
find
it's-
yourself in a bad spot with Malix,
Yeah.
and you need to get those conditions off you in a hurry, and those other skills are on cooldown or whatever. The ones where he pushes them off, then could save you maybe.
I would have liked to see a kind of with the Ventari maybe to synergize with Malix. What if you had like a martyr from the original Guild Wars 1 martyr, which draws everyone's conditions to you, and so then you could have
they
every
have that
single
in
condition.
Necromancer.
Yeah, but surely it would really work well with the Revenant toolkit. And then you could apply every single condition to the game to everyone around you, every pulse of the Malix elite. That would be disgusting. That would be filth. Should be an ability. Give yourself 25 stacks of bleeding, and then you spread it to everyone, and then you cleanse it off.
I would play that. Yeah, that'd be great.
I would use that. Okay, what's next? The answer is energy expulsion. You force energy to erupt from the tablet, knocking back enemy foes and leaving behind energy bits that heal allies. This does, I believe this...
That's energy expulsion.
It destroys the tablet. I
Destroys the
believe.
tablet.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I kind of like that tablet.
Yeah, and it's a CC. CC's pretty good, I guess. But I don't know. Is it worth using this? Do you think? I mean, it deploys 5 bandages. Sorry, healing fragments, but and it's 50 energy in a 2-second cast time as well. I just don't really see this being worth it.
That's yeah. I see.
It doesn't do any damage, right?
Which is
Although the healing fragments
I don't
are
know.
each 1,250 healing. That's pretty good.
Right.
And so forget about that skill. Yeah, that skill's not so great. But there's some traits that drop healing fragments all the time, right?
Yeah.
And the auto attack doesn't it?
Yeah, the auto attack drops I think 3 healing fragments, and then energy expulsion, whatever. But then I think there's there's a trait in the trait line that says you drop healing fragments whenever you use a stance skill. So any of your healing or utility or elite skills as a Ventari. And if they're all 1,005, like basically a medkit heal, that's pretty strong. That's you're gonna have a lot of those, and that's gonna be very helpful for everybody. But this skill's not that great.
no.
No. It needs something extra. It needs something more.
It does have an amazing animation though. It looks really cool. The distortion effect from the explosion. I think that justifies it. Just using it for that.
Yeah, it's a knockback
No,
too.
not really.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
it's
is a
the
knockback. It does drop fragments, but it comes up a bit short.
What if it was like a 800 knockback or a 900 knockback?
That would be OP. Like knock them off the map completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Knock them back to their character select screen.
People
If
in
this-
Edge of the Mist would have a great time. Sorry, go.
If
go,
this
Bill.
destroys the tablet, does the tablet get pulled on like a cooldown, or can you just immediately make it again?
I think you can immediately make it again.
You can drop it again.
I think so too.
See, I'd rather this like put the tablet on a cooldown, but have like a huge
Well,
payoff.
the 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, actually.
Puts it on a 2-second cooldown.
So I guess I don't know.
So wait, does that mean that you would have a knockback every 2 seconds, basically, or every 10 seconds, I guess, because of energy regeneration?
Well, yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah. So,
But it's still 2-second cast.
exactly, yeah. I mean, and it has a really obvious animation as well, so it's going to be very easy to predict what. And because you kind of wear everything on your sleeve here, because you have to put the tablet where you're going to use it. It's going to be very obvious when you're about to do this, so it's going to be pretty easy to avoid, really, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very very evident that you're doing it for 2 seconds long.
The other thing we haven't talked about is none of this is usable underwater. So what happens when you go underwater? Not that you do very often. Yeah, everybody's laughing at me. Not that you ever go underwater very often, but what happens when you do go underwater?
They've completely removed underwater from the game. You didn't realize that?
Well, I mean, except the fractal where you have to be a dolphin and you go underwater.
Oh,
Yeah, but
that
then you're a
one's-
dolphin.
That one sucks.
You're not
Not,
Ventari when you're
not
a
for the
dolphin.
whole dungeon. You're not a dolphin.
Mm.
What about the final boss when
Yeah.
you're not a dolphin anymore?
Then you're
Yeah,
jealous.
or when you have to fight Moss Man underwater. Like, come on, guys. Seriously.
when you're breaking Moss Man.
Well, I mean,
I realize you don't go underwater very often, but like this legend just doesn't exist underwater. So
well, pretty much.
then you
Yeah.
only have one
Well, yeah,
legend.
neither do
Well-
like Guardian meditations or like
Well, that's true.
anything useful.
Yeah, but also they're doing the next legend after this is I think it's a dolphin legend.
That's the
Echo.
warrior specialization.
Echo, the legendary
Dolphin.
dolphin.
Go to legendary dolphin. And yeah, it's gonna be good, I think.
I have a Yu-Gi-Oh card for this, but it's somewhere across the room, and I'm not going to dig it out. But it's a pink dolphin. It's-
Brazil sleeps in a bed of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I do.
Well, maybe
I almost broke them the other day. For some reason, I jumped out of bed and I caught my foot in my blanket, and I just like fell and face planted on the floor, like on top of all of my binders. And I thought like I bent them all, but that's just a tangent.
It's a beautiful tangent.
Well,
Oh my god. So what's the pink dolphin's name?
Ritual Beast Ulti Patelophin. It's a contact fusion.
Elephant.
Patelophin, Petalphin, something like that.
Pink elephant.
Yeah, it's the pink elephant.
Okay.
So traits.
Yeah,
Traits.
traits.
Sure.
Let's talk about
that
traits.
note.
Segue into traits.
All right. The first minor thingamy is disarming riposte. Striking a foe while they are using a skill blinds them. And is it just me, or is the cooldown of 20 seconds just way too long in
If
every
it
way?
was-
Very long time.
I feel
Because
like
it's their next outgoing attack. So
Exactly,
that
yeah.
attack still hurts you. It's their next attack that's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually a good point.
20-second cooldown. It does have 5 seconds of
Wait, no,
blindness,
hold on a
so-
second though. But if they're using a skill,
Yeah, then no, it will miss.
they'll be blinded and it'll miss.
But what I really dislike about this sort of thing is how you don't have a choice in doing. I mean, obviously, it's impossible to implement it, so you do have a choice. But what's going to happen here is, the warrior is going to be auto attacking you, and then this is going to trigger, and then 2 seconds later he's going to kill shot you, and you're going to die, and then this trait is worthless. I mean,
Let's be honest here. If you die to kill shot, like just quit playing. But
I like it like it
example,
is.
example, Brazil. Please,
all right.
Brazil plus. But this is you're not going to be able to target powerful abilities using this, and
No, it's another, it's a random thing.
yeah.
Or you could just make sure you don't hit them for 20 seconds and wait,
Yeah, that's
wait for them
true.
to use kill shot.
But
That could work.
I think it would be better if it was 10 seconds. I don't think that would be broken if it was 10 seconds.
10-second blind? No, that wouldn't be broken.
I think I'll be okay. Right now, I think this is just kind of bad. Just not very good. Although I suppose if you compare it to the other elite specializations, they're just the weapon normally, aren't they? Yeah, I mean the Reaper one, it converts your shroud, and you can use
Right.
you can
Yeah,
use
but
a
this isn't an
greatsword.
elite specialization.
Yeah, this is just a core.
Yeah, so it should be okay, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. It's
I mean,
way
it's
better
just-
than 10% on bleeding.
Yeah.
Damage.
Okay, how about hardened foundation? Gain toughness based on a percentage of a healing power. 7%. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just okay.
Jealous.
It's a
Yeah.
conversion. It's all right, isn't it? I mean, 7%
Good
is
for
pretty
world versus
decent.
world.
For a minor, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was really upset with the elemental specializations when one of the adept traits was gain ferocity based on your healing power. Or no, it was a
But
it was ferocity.
that's a weird combination, though. Really, isn't
It's
it?
a weird combination, but at the same time, when you think about it, if you stack healing power, you're gonna have maybe 1200.
Yeah.
And 7% of 1200 is not very high. It's like 100. It's like 90 or something.
In this one, if you're building healing power, you're probably going to be I mean, if you have this trait line specialization, you're going to be building healing power anyway, probably. So
yes. You will want toughness too.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not going
90 toughness from this.
You're not going out of your way to do that. Whereas if you're playing an elementalist, if you're building healing power, ferocity, I mean, it's not very useful. If you were building around getting ferocity and healing power, it's just what's happening here. I think it's just that's not a normal combination. It's an unusual combination to have, I think.
So the question here though is, you have 3 minor traits. Sorry, the third one is effectiveness of your healing is increased 15%, right?
Yep.
That's very strong.
Yeah, this is good.
They were thinking they were going to reduce that, but it's strong. But so you have 3 things. Your last 2 things, you get 90 toughness from your middle minor trait, and a lot of healing power from your third one. Those are just like static things. The most interesting minor trait out of all of these is the blindness on the next attack.
Yeah, the rest are just flat increases or whatever.
Flat stuff.
Yeah, flat. It's the opposite of bumping.
It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I guess they're just minor traits, but it is kind of boring.
Boring, yeah, boring but effective.
Yeah.
For what you're trying to do.
15% healing is pretty powerful. I mean, how does this? What's the elementalist one? Is the elementalist one 20%?
It's 25% outgoing.
25%. So, but then again, I guess the elementalist.
But that's a grandmaster trait, though. I think.
Yeah.
Or did they change that?
I think they changed it to just be a minor.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe they did.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't ever pay any attention to elementalists at all.
That's because you're.
Oh, how dare you! How
very
dare
class.
you!
Like, what are you doing?
I hate it.
Best class in the game.
Yeah, healing Untitled is now a minor trait.
Yeah.
25%.
But then again, the elementalist doesn't have access to the same amount of raw healing as the Ventari. So I think that's you could almost say it's on the same level. I'd actually say this is better because of the amount of healing that Ventari has access to.
I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, especially since one of the grandmasters. Anyway, we'll continue.
Okay. This is the first adept, Nourishing Roots. Grant regeneration to allies near Ventari's tablet, which is everyone in the area. 3-second interval, 240 radius. So more or less permanent regeneration. If you've got some boon duration on top of that, more or less permanent regeneration, which is it more than doubles the effectiveness of the passive heal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because this regeneration triggers every second. So, and if you've got healing power behind that, I think this is really good. A lot of healing out of this, I think.
It's just a shame that your allies actually have to eat the roots of Ventari's tablet in order for it to work.
Yeah. You each take a bite out of it, a chunk out of it, and it lasts so long.
It's really a tablet of chocolate, so you're all just taking pieces of the Hershey tablet.
I would follow Ventari's teachings if it was chocolate tablets. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So permanent regeneration, that's good.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
This is very good. Again, it's a small radius, but with the mobility of the tablet, you can counteract that, I think. But let's see. I mean, regeneration here they've got it as 280 healing per second. If you add that onto the kind of 100 healing per second of the tablet, it's about 150 healing, 125 healing per second on the tablet. You've already got a passive healing signet on everyone with this up.
Yeah.
On everyone around you, and then you've got all the other. Then you've got the active healing and stuff like that. So
yeah. So that one specifically is for some other traits in here are doing other things besides just using the tablet, but this thing's specifically for building around the tablet. Which I wonder if. Yeah. There's some other traits that build just around the tablet too.
Yep. Okay,
so you can make a tablet build basically with this.
Anyone else have any comment on the Nourishing Roots? Brazil, are you disgusted by the amount of healing?
Not disgusted, but I think it seems fine.
Okay.
Passive healing. It's
passive
fun.
healing. In that case, let's move on to Blinding Truths. Blind nearby foes when you use a healing skill. Now this is more like it, I think, because that's every time you move the tablet, and
Every
that's
2
on
seconds.
that's on a 2-second cooldown. Now that
Well, is that? Are you interpreting that as like a healing skill, like your
Yeah,
number
for sure.
5,
I believe
or
it
like
was,
a skill that heals?
I think it's
Well,
just
Does
the,
both anyway.
Okay.
I think
As long as it passes through somebody, it heals.
yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Well, the way that I read that is like your number 5 on your keyboard healing skill.
Right. Yeah.
But okay, if it's the other way, that's not bad. That's your staff auto attack, I guess. Maybe.
Well, I mean, you're probably right. It's probably when you use your heal skill, but that's on a 2-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you
Yeah.
can blind somebody every
Every
2 seconds.
Well,
Yeah, it's not every
just-
heal you
yeah.
do.
It's
Okay.
not just someone. It's 5 people. Blind everyone around you.
Yeah.
5, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
every
I could
2
see-
seconds. I think this is very powerful.
I could see everybody standing in a little circle around your thing, and then you just literally move your thing,
Yeah,
like,
slowly
here's
walk
your
around with it.
group, all just tablet here to here, 2 seconds later to here, 2
Yeah.
seconds later to here, basically blinding everybody around you and healing you for, what was it, 1,000 each time it passes
Yeah.
through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Strong.
Oh,
Yeah.
the tablet is the heal skill. I
Yeah.
thought
Right.
it was an elite skill.
Oh, no.
And it went
no,
through.
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes more sense now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
the
think-
tablet is both a heal skill. Anyway,
Okay.
tablet's weird.
This is very powerful.
Okay.
How
Yeah,
about-
that sounds pretty decent.
Here is Tranquil Balance. While above the health threshold, healing to allies is increased even more by 20%. So this is like a Scholar Rune or the Elementalist thingy. But healing
Scholar.
and twice as much, 20%.
And to allies, not to other allies. So it's
Yeah.
to yourself as well.
Hmm.
So I mean, this unlike Scholar Runes makes it more possible. Although, when are you gonna need healing for yourself at least when you're above 90% health?
Well, no, isn't
They'll
it?
keep you there.
Isn't it just that you just have an incentive to get back up to that health?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
say you take some
Or
group
keep
damage.
yourself there.
Yeah, you take group damage, and then so you heal yourself up really fast, and then you start healing everyone else up. That sort of thing. Because 20%
okay.
is significant.
It is.
But I don't think I'd take this over the blinding though.
No,
I don't see it.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me neither. Unless you know you're not gonna get hit for some reason, like if you're doing PvE content.
Yeah.
Granted, it seems that there are a lot of like healing effectiveness increased traits, and if those are like additive or multiplicative, if they're multiplicative, that will start to get a little bit more fun, because I guess 20% and 20%, that's probably like 23% maybe, 24.
Yep.
If they're multiplicative, okay. And when you add more in, they get better. So
Plus
That-
the 15 that you get
Yeah.
base.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that
Can
could
add
be
up
fun.
quickly.
That could be fun to play with.
Yeah.
Just
And
like
then
the-
you have that Grandmaster later too.
and then you have the sigil
Neat.
as well, right?
Boots bad
what's
build.
And we'll get into it in a
Ventari's
second.
math class.
We'll get into it in a second, but Invoking Harmony can add like another effectiveness increase of 20%. So
It's gonna get crazy.
for a short
And then
period.
selfless amplification is again ridiculous.
Yep.
Let's-
So yeah,
Let's go on.
it's
to
gonna be
super
way too much.
effective healing.
It's gonna be so much healing. It's not even funny
so much
anymore.
healing. Let's
But-
go on to sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we could keep going and point. We're gonna point out all the healing eventually, but I just want to say it's gonna be so much healing that this has to be the only spec, unless they buff everything else crazy. This will be doing far and above the most healing of any other profession in the game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And so, like, if you're doing content that needs a heal spec, all of a sudden, because we're gonna need that. The only reason we play this is if there's content that needs a heal spec.
Right.
So I'm assuming we're gonna get that now. But if we get that now, this is the only thing that could do that because it's so much better than everything else.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So,
They have made the elementalist healing more powerful though. I think that's probably what they're looking to do as well.
maybe
I mean,
to,
and everyone
to
else
other
is
players,
healing.
maybe.
Yeah, they're probably gonna make everything more powerful to compensate for this. But I don't
It
see
looks
how.
like they're gonna have to.
Yeah, because this is well by far and away more healing than anything that we have currently anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some master things, and Inks was just talking about invoking harmony, so let us begin there. Healing done to allies is increased for a short duration after invoking a legend. It's 5 seconds after you become Ventari.
Yep. You get an extra 20%.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually that good, even though 20% is powerful. I don't think swapping every 5 seconds is really going to be a valuable thing to do. But I don't know, maybe you guys can prove me wrong. What do you think?
Well, it's like
I'm gonna prove
sigil.
you wrong.
It's like sigil of battle, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
Except for that's might, obviously.
Well, yeah, and that's
Might's
assuming.
generally better, but
Yeah. Like, if you're not going to be camping Ventari, like if you just switch to it when you need healing, then that could be useful.
Yeah.
And like I don't. Just looking at the other two traits, like eluding nullification has a 10-second cooldown on it, and you have a ton of condition removal anyways. It only removes
Yeah.
one. The
From
only
allies, though.
yeah, like the only thing I really see like maybe competing would be Tranquil Benediction, but like I don't. You have a lot of regeneration anyways if you take Nourishing Roots. Probably, and like the swiftness is 1 second, so that's
1 second of regen, 1 second
Yeah.
of swiftness. I don't know.
1 second of swiftness. I mean, really?
like if you just blow like a load of orbs or something, and like someone runs over them all, then I don't know.
The orbs, though.
On the elite, you'll get a couple seconds. On the staff, you'll get a couple of seconds. There's an elite that gives
What
you
if-
some orbs.
what if
I
it
don't
was-
know. It's
What if it was 1 second of protection though?
That'd be better.
Well, that would like instead of regeneration or instead of swiftness,
Instead of swiftness.
maybe like I would still almost kind of want the swiftness, but like I don't know, regen and protection together would really be strong. I think I might actually prefer swiftness and protection,
Me too.
but
Because then you get regen from Nourishing Roots.
yeah, so I don't really think you would need any more of it.
My question is with the wording of the skill itself, because it says the healing orbs that you create while wielding a staff will grant swiftness.
right. It's when you make them, not when you pick
right.
them up.
No, right. Oh, that you create.
Oh, you're right. The
No,
wording
they
is
get.
a bit tricky.
It'll be when
when
you pick
picked up.
picked up by allies. So it is
Yeah.
definitely when you pick them up. But I'm talking about the orbs themselves because everything else is called fragments, right? Like the things that come off your tablet are fragments. The trait that makes fragments are fragments.
Right.
Yeah, I
right.
wonder if that's like a typo or something.
Maybe it's a
Probably.
typo, but maybe is the staff orbs? Does it say orbs
They're
on the staff?
fragments, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Creating healing orbs. The staff is orbs.
Okay.
So really, this skill is only useful for
The staff.
The staff.
Yeah.
The orbs dropped specifically by the staff.
Okay.
That kind of sucks.
That does suck.
Yeah. That's not
I thought it was
great.
for everything. You're right. I thought it was for everything at first. Like I thought
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
the fragments. I thought they were all orbs or all fragments, but
They should definitely make it so that it's for everything.
Yeah.
it does say while wielding a staff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that nearly as much.
No. So I mean, it produces 3 orbs every auto attack chain, right?
Yeah, every
Yeah.
Every 2 seconds.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
I guess.
The auto attack is the last hit is
Is what produces the orbs.
yeah, that's a second cast, but it hits 3 times, I think.
Hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't take this
No.
probably.
The next one though is quite interesting though. Eluding nullification. Dodge roll removes a condition from nearby allies.
In combat, yeah.
In combat, yeah. Sorry. If...
I would imagine that would also apply to you, because the way spotter and like empower allies and stuff are worded, it says applies to your allies, but it also applies to you too. So
I think so. I think it would
yeah,
apply
but
to you.
it like at the same time, I don't think you need it.
Yeah, you have 2 other Condi removals already.
Yeah.
Besides this one.
Very strong ones as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think this will struggle versus the other 2 traits.
If it didn't have a cooldown, it would be really nice. But it has a 10-second cooldown, and it only removes 1 condition.
Yeah.
I think it would be taken over the other 2, but
You think?
other 2 master traits. I mean, because none of these master traits are that great.
Yeah.
But yeah. The adepts are way better than these.
Yeah,
They are.
they are.
They need to mix them up. They need to move a couple of
But you know, then again, it's kind of irrelevant now because you have to go all in the specialization now. You can't just pick. Although I actually, that's one of the things that kind of upsets me. Actually, it kind of makes me sad.
I like going all in. It's just like in this case, none of the masters are that appealing. I don't know. Maybe they'll shift some of them around. Maybe they'll move some adepts and masters between each other. And
maybe if, no. Maybe if it healed a bit as well. What do you guys think about that? Say 1,000 heal as well.
yeah,
Make it
that
billion
might be
better.
too much.
Yeah, that would make it better, but
On the eluding nullification, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, wouldn't that sort of like make guardians mad?
Yes.
Probably.
But
Because then they'll just be like, "Why is this just strictly?" Oh, but this one has a
Yeah.
cooldown.
Yeah,
does.
Guardians doesn't have a cooldown.
But I mean, even if you put the heal on this, then it's basically just evasive arcana for elementalists. Anyway,
I don't see why they shouldn't just remove the cooldown on this.
Yeah, I think that would be a good way
Or
to go about it.
lower it significantly at the very least.
For
Like
1 second.
Yeah,
Which, if it was 1 second, like, there's not even a point in there being a cooldown
that's,
anyway.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Right.
Grandmasters.
Grandmasters.
Oh, by the way, JS Fiki
Oh.
makes a very good point that I think we should take into account next time. I'm not going to be here next time, but the time after that. Why aren't you guys drinking tea and eating biscuits?
I've already drunk my tea. Ooh.
Yeah, but I think he has a point. I think we should all make tea for ourselves
Yeah.
and have some biscuits ready.
I agree.
While watching the show, while playing the show, while doing this.
Alright.
You good?
I'm okay
We're
with that.
good.
All right, we're doing
Sounds
that. Done.
Kalethon is asking, can projectile destruction stop things reflect cannot? Say.
Yes. Yes. There are. I'm trying to think of like really good examples, and I can't. This is really.
And you call yourself an elitist.
I know. I'm thinking of like, I want to say there was something at Belka in a Raw at one point that you could like absorb, but you couldn't reflect back. There's okay, and Mesmer. This is Alphard. I don't know if this works anymore, but Alphard in a Raw Path 2. You used to be able to just like suck up all of the projectiles with untraded wardens on Mesmer. And that may have been a bug with Mesmer because I think the warden, instead of reflecting, it just absorbed projectiles or like reflected them. But it would like block all kinds of stuff that like you couldn't reflect if it was traded for reflection. So that was that may have just been a quirk with that particular skill, but yeah. Like those lightning bolts, whatever they're called, that shoot out of the dagger storm, like you could suck those up. Like they just wouldn't appear. So, yeah.
Okay.
Which
Should we talk about
Grandmaster.
Grandmasters. Selfless amplification. Increase outgoing healing based on a percentage of healing power. And you get 1.5% per 100 healing power. Yeah, this is good. So if you got 1,000, 15%, and here they seem to have 1,200.
Yeah. So wait, so that selfless application, the 18% outgoing heal effectiveness, is that the sum? Is that the calculated total, or is
That's
that
what
in
it looks
addition?
like.
Yeah,
So then we know how much healing power they have.
yeah. So they were running full healing gear then.
They were running, yeah, like 1200 full healing
Yeah.
gear.
So hang on. Actually, the damage is pretty good then. Oh wait, hang on. No wait. What would they be running? What set do you think they'll be running?
So-
Cleric.
Cleric. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they'd have 1200 healing from that
And
total. I mean, with their
Yeah.
skills, with the 300 from skills.
So-
Okay.
so they'd actually have quite a lot of power with that then, wouldn't they? I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. But it
So-
also makes me think now. But now that we look at it this way, all the healing here is not going to get any higher.
Yeah.
This is the max healing you're getting. I mean, they haven't selected these traits, I don't think. So,
Well, So, do we know a lot of our right now when you go into things, the core specializations or traits as they are now have things like plus 300 power if you went down a full line. So a number of lines have healing power. Do we know how that's getting distributed onto gear exactly? Is it getting distributed at all?
I don't think they're. I think what's happening is that basically all the current gear that we have is going up by the amount that's being lost.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, or maybe slightly less.
Yeah, because they want to avoid the power creep, and seeing as all the new traits seem to be a lot more powerful than the old ones, they may tone down the stats so everyone
So
doesn't get
instead
too
of-
much more powerful.
Yeah. So your cleric gear, having originally been 600, 600, 900 power, toughness by healing power, is now instead of being 800 because plus, or sorry, 900 because plus 300, it might be plus 200 instead. But you won't get any other different types of stats, I don't think.
Oh, so you're just going to get power on that. You're not going to get
You
healing
get power. No, you're gonna get power, toughness, healing power. I'm guessing 200, 200, 200.
Okay, so then you might get a little more healing power out of clerics then when this change happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna guess
Although-
in this video those changes haven't happened yet.
Hold on. When you think about it, though, you had 14 skills to begin with. That equates to how many stats, trait points. I mean, you had 14 trait points to begin with. That equates to how many stats. So each trait point is 50 stat points, but times 2 because there's 2 in each line. So 7. Sorry, it was 600. It was 600 for each full line, right? You get 300 of 2 types.
Mm-hmm.
So 1200 plus 100. 1300 stat points total. No, plus 200. 1400 stat points total is getting removed by taking out stats from trait lines. So 1400 stat points total. Each armor type usually has 3 things. Divide that by 3. We should be getting almost 500 of each on our armor, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So the max you could get in stats originally was plus 300. So I'm going to guess they're going to max up at plus 300. So that means they're taking off 1400 from our things, but we're probably only getting 900 back.
Well, but some of that is getting increased. We're currently at, what is it, 926? It's going up to 1,000, or is it 932, something like that?
Yeah, and I think it's 916, isn't it? I think that's correct.
Yeah, but that's not what I mean. I mean,
Like healing power won't increase, but the power will.
if you put, like currently with your trait lines, if you put all your points into lines, you are getting
Right.
1400 stat points. But
there's a
the
slight
most,
loss there, but
yeah, the most you could get in a particular of a bonus of a certain stat is 300 in any stat line. So I'm guessing they're not going to increase that. That's my guess.
right.
So that
yeah.
means that with any armor thing that's 3 different stats, they're going to get 300, 300, 300, or would they go 300, 300, 400 for the main stat?
They'll want
I
to
don't know.
maintain the. They'll want. I think
We just
they'll
don't have
want
the
to-
numbers. I have no
We don't
idea.
know. We don't know.
I
Would it
do-
go
I-
200, 200?
Yeah. If I had
There's
to
going to be a
guess-
loss for sure.
if I had
200,
to
200,
guess-
900.
I think they'll try and keep it proportional, so the main stat will get more. But I
Main
doubt.
stat will get more.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're gonna reduce the like overall amount by a little bit.
Yeah.
But they'll round it off and make it nice and pretty.
Yeah.
So
My original
250,
question and point
250.
was,
Yeah.
will healing power seen increase then on something like cleric's gear? And it probably should see a small increase, right?
The cleric's gear will see an increase because you're losing 300 from trades.
Meaning that self-amplification could be slightly higher come these changes.
Yeah.
That was kind of my original
Yeah.
point.
We really
Yeah,
went down
okay.
the rabbit hole on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what are they going to do with that? Okay. Anyway, continue.
Natural abundance.
Well, Brazil, what do you think about self-amplification before we move on?
I think it'll be fun to just like combo it with other healing effectiveness increase stuff and see what kind of absolute ridiculous shit you could pull off.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to see about.
Because it
I-
looks, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Zealot's gear and like giving this a try with Shiro and maybe staff not being worthless. I'm starting to have hope, but
Isn't Zealot's gear power main stat, though?
I think so.
Yeah. It looks if you go healing power main stat, you could probably get the Stealthist application up to 20%, which means you have 15 from a minor, 20 from that, possibly 20 from above 90%, another 20 from going into Invoking Harmony, going into your legend for 5 seconds.
75%.
But that's stacking.
Yeah, I mean it's
Exactly.
So it's going to be
multiplicative.
like 88%.
Right.
Well, wait, what have we got? Have we got 4 1.2s? Shall we just say we've got 4 1.2s?
You have, let's just say that.
That
4
means you
1.2s.
get 207% healing.
Sounds really strong, really high.
Yeah, so suddenly that Ventari tablet bashing someone in the face heals them for 2k. That's pretty effective.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. Every 2 seconds. That's 1,000 healing a second just from the tablet. And
Yeah,
bear in
until
mind,
you lose invoking.
yeah,
Until you lose invoking harmony.
Yeah.
So for 2 heals basically, and then it'll drop down some.
but wait, does regeneration stay at the same? Does regeneration stay at the same healing that on the first time it was applied at, or does it change as you go
I
on?
think it changed.
I don't know. I don't really
I
know
actually
how
don't know that.
regeneration works.
Well, I think it should change because like bleeding and poison changes based on
Yeah.
your Conti damage.
So yeah, okay. Oh, my dream is crushed. My dream is ruined. Otherwise, just think you could apply all these multipliers and your regeneration would be amazing. Because regeneration with this would be so good. With all these multipliers, it's going to be ridiculous. The amount of
You get your-
passive healing you're going to get from this.
You get regeneration. You got the passive healing from just being next to the tablet. You get another every 2 seconds a pass of the tablet, and then every 2 seconds you have the tablet pulse of 4,000 healing,
Feel the power.
and then your staff.
Yeah. That's a lot. It really
Yeah.
is a lot.
That
This
is a lot.
Yeah. This is going to be pretty crazy when we see this in action. I mean, obviously, disclaimer, as I probably said on the stream a few thousand times, it's going to be played around with. This is not its final state. But as it is now, this
it's
is...
not even my final form.
Exactly. It's not its final form.
In fact, natural abundance seems like the kind
Ooh.
of trait that would be able to replace selfless amplification. Because if you're creating fragments every time you use your tablet skills, and the
Yeah.
tablets are, let's say you don't have 207% healing power, now you only have 180.
Yeah. Oh, the horror.
percent healing.
What a loss.
Oh, the horror. But you're getting you make 1 fragment, but still that's nearly 3,000 healing every time you use a tablet skill.
This one's pretty powerful as well, actually.
Yeah.
Now that you bring that to my attention, thank you.
Hmm.
You have educated.
Well, you get
me.
1 fragment every time you use a skill.
Yeah, tablet skill.
Right.
Yeah.
So any of the skills you can pop out quite a few fragments.
Definitely.
But the fragments don't heal in an area, so it'll be for one person, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
So it would be more
Yourself.
useful if you're doing your self-sustaining build. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about this one, Brazil? Is it as good as selfless amplification?
I don't know. These little fragment things, I'm not a fan of those. But
Dropping bandages.
yeah, we'll see.
We
Although,
will
like,
see.
Dropping supply crate and using like Elixir S and running over all the little things was fun. But then whenever you become a man, you use Elixir X and Slick Shoes and just start unlock fucking everything. So yeah.
Okay, should we talk about the final trait then?
The final one.
Which is momentary pacification. Daze nearby foes when using an elite skill in a 360 radius, all 5 of them.
So is that gonna cast the daze? Like, is that gonna daze them as soon as you start casting the 2-second cast for the blow up?
I don't think...
Probably when it ends.
It'll be at the
when
end.
it ends. Yeah.
But the most important thing is that they even, I think I said that on stream, this is currently OP with, for example, the Malik's elite skill.
Because you can just
which
toggle
you could pretty much spam. Yeah.
Oh.
Huh. Yeah. So they're gonna they have to change that basically, completely. I think they're just gonna put like a 5-second cooldown or a 10-second cooldown on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
I mean, CC is good. CC is a good unit to have, a good skill to have, and this provides a lot of it. 360
but almost
radius.
permanent daze.
Yeah.
Daze is the worst. I hate Daze. Daze is terrible because I don't. Can you stun break out of Daze? Because I think my skills are always locked whenever I try that.
Can
I
you?
don't
You
think
just
can.
like you can run around, but you
Yeah.
can't. I don't think you can do anything.
Yeah, like you can't even stun break out of a Daze
I
to
don't
use skills.
think so.
I don't think so either.
Which is unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. And you can increase the duration of this if you with Rune of the Mesmer, right? So this is where the bad build comes into play. Surely maximize the days on this and just
Techno babble.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had 33% more days on this, it gives you nearly 3 seconds, 2.6 seconds of days every time you use an elite. And say if they put it on a 5-second cooldown, if you were playing optimally, then you could get 50% days uptime on people around you, ruining their life and causing them to uninstall the game. So actually, you cost Guild Wars 2 gem sales by using this. I expect this will be removed from the game because they will they will lose money if they put this in the game because people will destroy their computers with rage and uninstall Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently you can stun break out of days. Thank you. Wait, how do you pronounce that name? Seriously, man, what the hell? JS Vicky.
It's Norwegian.
Just Vicky.
Just call him the Vicar.
Vicar. Okay, you are now the Vicar. Does anyone have any comments on this one? This little fella?
I think it's dumb, but I think it's gonna be gimmicky. I think someone is gonna find a way to make this really abusable.
How is that?
It'll work well with Mad King runes, I think.
Oh yeah, sure. But
I see.
Well, they're gonna nerf it anyway, so like,
yeah,
I don't know, whatever. Until we can see the final form or the final numbers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even seen its final form.
Exactly.
That's right.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see his final form.
Until we see Shiro Legend, where his elite is like Super Blade Storm.
Oh,
hit everybody, Super Blade Storm, Super Axes, and kills everything in a radius. Yeah, and there's no cooldown.
Remember the actual Shiro fight from Guild Wars 1? Impossible odds.
That's right.
Turns
everybody into Jade.
Yeah.
And blows up the computer.
It's more like he attacks everyone. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't even be that good because you already cleave in this game. But the original thing was when you got Shiro down to something like 30% health, he activates the skill that destroys everyone.
Yeah.
And he hits everyone, he double strikes. Because he's a boss, he quadruple strikes. and then combined with his passive thing, Battle Scars, the highest damage you hit him with, he lifesteals on every single attack. So if you hit him for 1k, he'd be lifestealing for 4k on every hit on everyone around you. That would be a good elite skill.
Yeah.
And that's in addition to your auto attack as well. So
yeah, the sheer elite skill will be that, but it says like only effective if your opponent isn't using skills, and that's where the daze comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen. We've predicted that perfectly.
So yeah, there's Ventari for you.
Yeah, and Salvation.
Yay, Ventari.
Yay,
I don't know.
Healing.
Ventari brings a lot of questions to me, just like where we're headed for HOT and the Revenant. I mean, the Revenant
challenging group content.
That's
maybe it might be. I mean, Revenant seems like, I mean, Ventari, all the healing in it, besides its effectiveness as a bunker in Conquest and how it could probably be pretty good in Stronghold. It seems like it really doesn't do much in PvE, and unless there is some sort of challenging group content where we're gonna need it, so we'll see what happens.
We will indeed.
I really like the legend. I like the idea behind it. Yeah, we really need to see how useful this is going to be come Heart of Thorns. Because in the core game itself right now, with the exception of structured PvP, maybe world versus world in some circumstances, it's not, in dungeons and stuff, you're just not going to use it. There's just better options.
Yeah.
Are we gonna start seeing like bosses that do a constant AoE damage that
It's likely. I think it's a possibility. Because
there could be there could be a phase of the boss where that's a thing. You know what I mean?
Think about like the dragon thing, like that puts fire shit all over the place. And like if there's a dragon you have to fight on or some kind of a boss that like breathes lava or something, and it just like fills up AoE all over the ground, like it's just an attack, and like you either have to interrupt it or just like heal through it or something. Like I don't know, maybe
you need to get credit for healing though, for supporting, which isn't really a thing right now. I don't know. Yeah,
you get credit for
there's a big of I don't knows, unfortunately.
I think you do get credit for stuff when you're healing.
Really?
I remember, or no, you know what it was? It was
I don't think so.
An old guildie of mine that did everything but attack the boss, like he at the Shatterer, didn't touch the Shatterer at all, but just like man stuff around it and like and that did give him stuff. But no, that's completely different.
Yeah, we've got an interesting point from Victor H in the chat. If you just died immediately instead of going into a down state, I think that's actually a really good point. I think if you had that, suddenly healing is really important because you can't just heal someone back up. You can't get them back off the floor in seconds.
Yeah, but they're not going to completely remove that from the game.
No, but say one of the bosses had
deadly poison.
Yeah, had an environment effect that meant you die straight away. There is no down state, just for maybe one boss or maybe a zone or something like that, a part of a dungeon or a raid. So
yeah, that'd be good. So do you want to take questions or call it a night?
Yeah.
How many seeds does a pomegranate have?
A lot.
It probably depends, doesn't it?
No, it's always a constant number. You should know that.
I did not know that. I gotta look that up now. I don't believe you.
613 seeds. That's the actual answer. I mean, obviously it's not true, but but that's the if you type in how many seeds does a pomegranate have, it comes up with 613.
Huh.
There you go. That's the question. Okay, here's a good question. How can Brazil say balls 3 times, then suck and not laugh? That doesn't really make much sense to me. Does anyone know what that means?
He's tired.
What was the question?
I don't know.
How can... well, I've got it recorded. It's not in chat right now. If people asked it earlier in the stream and I've kept it. with my amazing programming skills that don't work a lot of the time. How can Brazil say balls 3 times, then suck and not laugh? It's just,
I guess the simple answer is I didn't find it funny. I don't know.
I'm very confused by this.
I think that was
Brazil.
whenever I was messing up words talking about Alphard and Wardens. When I said balls, bolts, balls, and then,
I giggled.
The trait line for the trait lines that give 300 vitality, will that go to the base character's HP pool or gear with vitality? I think, well, I'm pretty certain it will be gear with vitality. Am I right, guys? Am I right?
I would think.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, anyone else have any other questions in the chat? Oh, well, obviously we have the classic question, why is Bootspur so handsome? I don't know who asked that. It was totally anonymous. It wasn't
It's
Bootspur.
the Jewish charm.
That's right, the half Jewish charm of mine. It's a combination of nose and glasses.
When is the GW2 Gem Store summer sale?
I don't
No.
actually know.
I don't think there is one, kind of, isn't there?
They probably will have a sale, but I'm not.
There, yeah.
They should coincide with Steam to
That'd
make lots
be-
of people angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy in my guild who, it's really funny because like for the past 2 or so years I've known him. Well, I've known him for a little bit longer than that, but like every time there's a summer sale, he's like, "Well, I already have everything that's on sale because I bought it like 4 years ago. I bought everything." And they just recycle a lot of the same stuff. So it's kind of funny. He has lots and lots and lots of Steam games. But
I would never have time to play them all.
yeah.
Right now, I have like 3 games that I really want to play, but I just haven't had time to play them at all either. It's terrible.
It is terrible. There never seems to be enough time to do anything, does there?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sad.
Except for this.
Yeah. Come on, there's always
This
time.
is-
There's always time for tea time.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 Is anyone else? I don't think anyone else is putting any more questions.
When is
No
it gonna-
questions.
You should play the best game. You should play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. I think it's just there's too many viewbots here. Too many Mr.
Too many
Destructoids.
Oh no.
They're not interacting. But then again, there are loads
Well-
of people here. I click on the viewer list. It's clearly not viewbots because there's loads of people here.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, Ventari is not a particularly interesting subject.
Wow.
But
Oh,
Way to
shots
crack
fired.
on my favorite.
Hashtag shots fired.
I think, personally, I think
Ventari is my favorite legend of all of them.
What about when they
Brazil
make the
hates them.
Scarlet Briar legend, Inks? Isn't that going to be your favorite?
That'll starve it.
They'll put it right next to the Abaddon legend.
Why was she in that fractal? Seriously. I'm
Oh,
still
that's
like.
good.
Every time I have to do that fractal, I hate it.
Yeah.
And I like that fractal. I like that boss. 'cause the
You
floor
like that
disappears.
boss? Do you like the ending cutscene?
I don't watch cutscenes.
Well, you can't skip it. It's just a camera. And
Well, my mind skips it, just
Okay.
blanks out.
you have a filter.
I like
So
the
we
fact
do
that
have
the
a
floor
question.
disappears and people like fall through the floor and they die.
Yeah,
That's a lot. I like that fight. I really do.
Entertaining.
Okay, right. Let's answer this question,
Anyway.
and then you
Okay.
will all endorse yourselves live on Twitch.
All
Do you-
right.
Do you think we may actually need healers, tanks, or control classes with Heart of Thorns?
That is the big
Yes.
question about Ventari, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything is still going to be able to do everything. I think there will be encounters where you need roles filled, and I think depending on the encounter, certain classes will be better suited for that. Like if you need lots and lots of healing for whatever reason, you may want to take a Ventari, Jalis, Revenant or something. If you need a little bit of healing, but you want blast finishers or something, maybe take an elementalist. Or I think it will depend on, the encounters. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go through it here, healers, tanks, or control classes. Tanks, you always need you right now. You need tanks in Conquest. Except no, nowadays less so. But you used to always need tanks in Conquest. Healers, that's the new thing in, like I said, in Conquest or in Stronghold. You might need them now. It might be the who knows? It might be the new meta coming out, trying to defend the Lord or trying to defend the NPCs. Control classes also. I mean, control. Everybody uses control. Yeah, you'll probably actually for sure need some kind of control classes, or at least every character is going to need some form of control for the new break bars. Possibly some break bars
Right.
are going to be ridiculously more difficult to break than others. In that case, you're going to need a full-on control character. But so I'm going to say yes. I think so. Overall.
I think I think it's going to be a soft Trinity. I think there's going to be cases where you're going to lean towards it, but I don't think you're going to be dedicated. That's
Oh
my
yeah.
that's my opinion of it anyway. I think they want to try and make it a little bit more familiar. Maybe they want to get new players in from different MMOs. They want to make it feel a little bit more familiar. But I would be quite upset if they didn't stick to their guns with not having a true Holy Trinity. I think there will definitely be dungeons where you're gonna need to have healing output, and I think that's really exciting actually. If you need some healing output to be able to beat an encounter, and I think that's a really good thing. But I think it would be very sad if you always needed to have a healer who's just healing up the group, and if that was the case, you just need a revenant every time because the tablet of healing.
I mean, I think it'll be on an encounter by encounter basis. We can already see some of this stuff loosely coming together in like the Triple Trouble Worm. You need dedicated people who just block eggs. You can beat the worm without doing that, but you're really punishing yourself if you don't have someone or two someones dedicated to blocking the grub eggs. You need a team dedicated to taking down the husks, the Kandi. And generally, you need a team dedicated to pure DPS for killing the worms that pop up as fast as possible. And if grubs get loose, killing them as well. And then currently everybody else is just kind of like cattle running around doing their thing. Once in a while, you need like mesmers at Cobalt will make that fight easier, for example. So you're loosely starting to see phases of fights or groups of fights where you assemble a team of 5 players or so to do a specific thing, and that's all that they do. What
does that mean?
Noise?
I thought it was someone walking, but that sounds like bass.
Yeah, that would be my downstairs neighbors.
Wow,
Subwoofers.
he's basing it up,
insane.
man.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what I live
like,
with
I'm
all the
listening,
time.
like, what is that? I'm looking around my own
I was
apartment.
like, was
like,
that
what is
me?
that noise?
What?
It's a stupid subwoofer. He's an electronic music creator, and he needs it.
Is his name Rob Bass, and did he come to get down?
Oh my god.
Wow.
I want to
That's-
shoot. I want
That's
to do
pretty
something.
damn bad. I guess I'd kind of like to add something onto what Inks just finished.
I'm gonna
up saying.
hold up my microphone. Sorry.
Assuming Inks is finished with his thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's just that you have these groups and we can see them coming together, and hopefully, Heart of Thorns will expand upon these fights, so that you need things like healing and support groups and whatever.
Yeah, and I guess my thought with that is that Triple Trouble Worm, you have like 150 people, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know exact numbers, but and out of like say 50 people at each wormhead, you have 2 egg blocking, and maybe like a Condi team of like 5. So that's like, everybody else just kind of going through and DPSing or whatever.
Yeah.
Granted, there are smaller roles you can play in that, like Elementalists with fire fields and like blasting, and warriors putting banners down on top of the ice bows and stuff like that. But I guess the bigger the group is, I think it's easier to ask people to fill specific roles. If you're playing in like a group of 5 people in a dungeon or something, and there's an encounter that requires a healer or requires a tank or something, then if there's one person in that group of five, like, that gets forced into that and they don't want to do it, or everybody wants to do it, but then you don't have DPS to kill the boss, that I feel like forcing roles that are like very specific to like healing and tanking and whatever, it works out better in larger groups, maybe even like 15 people. It could be fine. But kind of what I hope for, and this is like a point Nemesis and I both made yesterday, I would really, really like to see, say, there's like a raid or a new type of dungeon or something, and say you have to complete 3 events and they have to be in order. But to complete the first event, say, like, the dungeon's filling up with like water or something, and you have to go and kill the guy that is like flooding it with controls, or you can go over and like kill the guy giving him orders, and both of those encounters require 2 different things. So like one encounter may have roles specific for healing, and the other one may have stuff for DPS or whatever, but you have a choice. You only have to kill one of those bosses, and whenever you kill that boss, the goal progresses and you can go forward. And maybe past the first event, you get 3 events instead of just 2, and you can pick. You do one of the 3. And then you move on to the last boss, and maybe the last boss does stuff depending on the other bosses you killed. So its skill set is huge, and it can change, kind of like how Subject Alpha changes in each of the paths of CoE. That gives you tons and tons of choices of how to complete content, because some days you could say, like, if certain people are on that all want to be healers, you can go into an encounter that requires you to survive for like 3 minutes and you can't kill the enemies, so you group up and heal or whatever. Or there's an encounter that just requires like mindless DPS to a degree, and you can change up what you want to do every single time you go to the dungeon, and it's not the same redundant experience, and there are all types of metas. You can do the same path in the same time frame, but with completely different builds and whatever. So I would absolutely love to see an ecosystem like that. I think that would be really awesome. And I think that would be, if there were like forced roles in a party of like 15 or 20 people, maybe even 10, I would be ever so slightly disappointed, but it would add new things. If you get to completely choose what you want to do or how you want to play it, I think that would just be the best possible scenario.
I was gonna say, I completely agree with you, and I think though that this Revenant Ventari build, what they're gonna be doing, adding more healing to the game for some classes, I think it's entirely because ANET wants to destroy the Berserker meta in dungeons. And I think that they are going to be doing things to the new things that come out, new PvE content that comes out, possibly even revamping some dungeons, that makes it important that either one or two things. Either players are going to have to heal themselves effectively enough on their own, individually, or you're going to have someone to be able to heal everybody. So you won't be able to just do pure Berserker because you won't have enough healing for yourself in that case. So that way people are going to have to sort of vary up their builds a tiny bit, or hope somebody else is going to help them out. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. So like a group is going to have a choice when they're entering a tough thing. They could set up to be 4 Berserker DPS and 1 healer, so that they don't have to worry about it themselves, or it'll be everybody's going to be hybrid. In some way, shape, or form, or two people are going to be hybrid, everybody else can be DPS. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I think the proper way, and I think ArenaNet knows this. They've kind of said this before. They don't want to make Berserker invalid. I mean, a lot of us obviously have put in the time and effort to ascend ourselves out, or legendary weapons, everything, whatever. Well, I mean, those you can switch, but a lot of people have put time and effort into their gear, a lot of money, gold, whatever. So they don't want to invalidate that process. Those should still be viable, but it shouldn't be the only viable way in order to complete content effectively. And that's really the key word, right? Like right now, Berserker is the meta because it is the most effective way to complete that content the quickest or the fastest or whatever. And sure, not everybody has to do it the quickest or fastest, but generally people are going to want to complete content at a good steady pace or at a fast pace, and so that's why it's popular. So this content that's coming up needs to be completable at a respectable pace with including mechanics that require you to take other roles as well.
Yeah. That's my sentiment exactly, to be honest. And I mean, I really don't have anything to add to what you guys have already said. I mean, they already have this perfect setup for the choice. They have the path system anyway, so it would be very easy for them to have these different scenarios where different builds are required, and you simply set yourself up for what you know is coming. And yeah, I would really love them to do that. I think I don't think they want to destroy the Berserker meta. I think they want to alleviate it a little bit, because I don't think the Berserker meta in and of itself is toxic. I don't think even Guild Wars 2 have a problem with it. I think they just want to introduce a little bit more diversity to it. So it's not mandatory to use. Well, it's not mandatory now, but you know what I mean. So the best way is Berserker, but I think they want to bring in situations where it will not be optimal, and you need to use other things to complement that. Even if, say, if you maybe you can afford to run 2 Berserkers, but the other 3 guys you need to bring some healing and some damage absorption skills to deal with the mechanics of the fight. That's what I'd be looking for them to do.
Yeah. How's my level? I reduced my gain so that you wouldn't hear the bass anymore.
Sound like a radio producer.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You know what you need to do? You need to get a shock mount. And a
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is my Yeti. It's even black.
But the thing is, it's not just the shock of the bass. It's I could hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coming
I can't
through the
believe
floor.
it, that guy. That's insane.
Yeah, if that guy was my neighbor, he wouldn't be anymore. So, that's,
would you have moved, or would you have killed him?
I would have eaten him alive, most likely.
There we go.
So,
delicious.
Fed him to the sugar glider,
yeah.
bits and pieces at a time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the sugar glider a hook hand now. So.
Oh, sugar glider. What's his name, by the way?
Banquo.
Banquo.
Macbeth's friend. I used to have a dwarf hamster named Macbeth.
Are you? Oh, okay. It's not that you're. So you're Lady Macbeth.
Yeah, I am Lady Macbeth. That's okay.
All right then. I think that just about wraps everything up.
Should we plug and do we do that?
Boots, seeing as you have travelled long and hard to be with us tonight.
The ferocious
wait, hang on. No, it's not
Quebec.
tonight for you, is it? It's tonight for me.
No,
It's kind of afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Late afternoon.
Yeah. Well, seeing as you've gained blisters over the past day, and you've run.
And you have to
back
do this
here
again
to
next weekend?
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
fun.
It's gonna be less of a hike next weekend. It's gonna be more family friendly.
Please do tell us where we can find you and all the things that you do and stuff like that.
Hello, I'm Boosper from World of Enders. You could find me on my YouTube channel at World of Enders, or you could find me on Twitch sometimes. Very, very, very rarely at Boosper. And also I have a tweeter tweety thing at World of Enders. And that is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, Inks, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at MMOinks, all one word, or Moinks, or how you pronounce it.
I have to say that actually was when I first saw you. That is how I thought it was pronounced.
Moinks as well. Moinks. Yeah, MMOinks. If you just want to spell that out, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all of those places, it's all the same.
Fantastic. And how about you, me? Because you were me at the start.
Do I sound like a radio voice now?
Yeah.
You do, yes.
Yeah.
Let's have a radio voice.
What's up, everybody? Dante here, coming at you again with another Phalanx Strength Warrior build. Don't forget to donate to my Patreon. Get crit.
That was very good accent.
That was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, I'm Brazil. You just search Brazil Guild Wars 2 anywhere on Google and you'll find me. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Dantane is back, by the way.
Oh, I saw his video yesterday.
He's out of his contract with Machinima, right? Because that's
I
why
don't know.
In November or something.
I mean,
just about.
I mean, no disrespect to the guy, obviously, but would you
It
not
sucks that he
read
was
the
stuck in it.
contract and then it says that they don't have to pay you?
His excuse was that it was too difficult to understand, and he had to get a lawyer after he signed it to help him understand it. And I am
Probably should have
someone
done
who
that
has
first.
signed a YouTube contract. I'm not retarded, and I can fucking read English and understand sentences. And I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
That's my input there. I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. There's the 2 cents of Brazil. That's the 2 cents that he earns every month from YouTube.
Yeah,
money.
that's my YouTube revenue.
gold.
Yeah, all that YouTube gold.
Sense of YouTube gold.
All right. And as for me, you're already on my Twitch channel, so follow that if you want to see more stuff like this. And you can find me on YouTube. I am MightyTeapot, youtube.com/MightyTeapot. I am on Twitter as well. I tweet about many things. Also at MightyTeapot. So yes, follow here, follow there, subscribe on YouTube. And we'll see you around in the future. That will be the end. Goodbye, everyone.